generosity of heart. I think compassion is, well, I hear the word passion in it, and it's like, and I also hear the word compass in it, and a compass is always points true north, and compassion can be hard to have sometimes, but if you're following your true north and you're following your heart, and you're generous with your heart, then you're giving, and you're being on point, and you're heading towards the North Star, and yeah, and then passion is, you believe it within yourself. It's strong. You presence the truth in it, and therefore you're committed to being a presence and showing up for people and helping people in need, being a good friend, being a good father, mother, brother, sibling, sister, whatever, all of the roles. I think compassion is a choice, and I think compassion is beautiful, and I think it's the road toward a beautiful frontier for all of us to share.
Alright, so my concept, or compassion in my mind, is giving people the time and energy and consideration that you would want others to give yourself if you were in a situation that's not necessarily ideal. So yeah, it's just kind of about caring for others and empathizing. That's what I consider to be compassion.
The act of compassion, or having compassion for someone, is probably a two-part. Firstly, you most likely have to sympathize with somebody on a certain level, and having their own experiences is definitely a way to heighten that sympathy. And secondly, I think there can be no compassion without action. In order to have sympathy for someone without inaction, or with action, is compassion, I think. It's kind of a two-parter. You can't just say, oh, I feel sorry for you, and then be on your merry way. I think to be compassionate, or at least to have compassion for another person, is to willingly enact or help them in that situation. I think education helps that a lot, but I don't think just feeling sorry for someone is a form of sympathy is enough to fix what you would consider not being compassionate. Personally. If you're just compassionate for someone and you take action, it's almost a job, but I think having that experience, or at least the education behind why one should be compassionate, is definitely going to help that role.
Compassion, wow, that's a deep subject, many faceted. Being a former English teacher, I guess I have to think of the different definitions. I think one of the biggest examples that impressed me was an English teacher at Chiang Mai University. Her name was Sai Ka, Moonbeam. I don't know if she'll be seeing this. But one day she was driving her car on the highway around Chiang Mai and stopped to make a left turn, and got rear-ended by a guy who just started a job. It was a small truck, did some damage, but nobody hurt, and he could have been fined, and damages and all that goes with a car collision here in the States back then in the 1970s. God, I can't remember now when it was. Anyhow, it was before the turn of the century. So she turned around and said, well, I'm a Buddhist, and I release fish, I release them, I release birds, and so I think I should release you, a human being. Don't worry about it. And her car was drivable, and she drove off, and she paid for the damages and all like that. And that made a huge impression on me at the time, that, wow, a religion that teaches people to free fish and turtles and birds and all, led Sai Ka to release this man who had done her wrong, but she understood his position. First day on the job, he would have been fired.